Hey there, this is Felix from Audemars Vintage Watches. My brother and I have not been in the watch business for very long. And for this reason we have you can call it manageable budget when it comes to our purchases. As you can clearly see it on our YouTube channel, we have a tendency to learn only about brands we could actually afford. Because of this, Audemars Piguet has simply dropped from the agenda. But for no reason. There's a variety of affordable, unusual K-shaped AP dress watches from the 1970s that are worth taking a closer look at beside all the big players. Today, we don't want to talk about the skyrocketing AP models most of you already know. We want to talk about the roots of this iconic company and how and why classic rectangular watches like our today's piece becoming more and more popular among vintage enthusiasts. Furthermore, we will explain you why maybe exactly now, in case of angular shaped watches, the right time for some bargains. These timepieces command a fraction of the price of their circular counterparts. First things first, rectangular watches are back in fashion. However, fans of, for example, Jaeger-LeCoultre's Reverso or Cartier's Tank would say they never left the party. But before we dig into this interesting topic, it is important to know something about the roots of Audemars Piguet. The company's history began at the end of the 18th century in Valais-de-Joux, when Swiss farmers during the long winter months began to spend their days in the bright attics of the courtyards working as watchmakers. They soon turned their farmhouses into well-equipped workshops for the manufacture of watch components such as cogs, bridges, springs, and so on. So in 1875, after completing his apprenticeship as a watchmaker, Jules Louis Audemars began manufacturing his own watches in Le Brassus, a small Swiss village. He received occasional support from his childhood friend, Edward Auguste Piguet, also a watchmaker. After they started working together, they continued this split function in different ways. Audemars oversaw the production and technical aspects of the watches, while Piguet focused his time on sales and management. And yeah, the name Audemars Piguet N.C. was first used in 1881. While remaining headquartered in Le Brassus, Piguet also opened a workshop in Geneva in 1885. 3 years later, they opened another shop in London. Only one more year later, Audemars Piguet increased its international presence even further, establishing shops all over the world like New York, Buenos Aires, Berlin, and Paris. Between 1918 and 1919, both founders passed away. The pair left the companies to their sons, Paul-Louis Audemars and Paul Edward Piguet. Both men were well-trained watchmakers, prepared to carry on the legacy of their forebears. Audemars Piguet survived the global economic crisis and was able to continue to develop during the Second World War due to the large demand for wrist chronographs, especially from the US. But the company achieved its greatest success after the Second World War. The Royal Oak, designed by Gerald Genta, was presented in 1972, is now considered a classic in the model range. But this isn't our today's topic. For the second part of our video, you just have to close your eyes and think of a watch. Most people picture a round shape, perhaps with sloping lugs that hold a bracelet or strap. But there is many more. Watches come in an array of shapes and sizes. Cushion-shaped, tonneau barrels, circles, ovals, rectangles, and even triangles like the Hamilton Elvis watch from our last video. It is well known that luxury watches have a talent for holding their value. But what is the difference between watches that are increasing in value and watches that are decreasing? In our opinion, there are 3 answers to this question: taste, size, and history. Like so many other things in life, tastes change and fashion evolves. As a result, over the past 20 years, we've noticed a particular decline in the popularity of angular, square, and rectangular models. This means they are incredibly undervalued on the pre-owned market. And it doesn't matter what brand we're talking about, from AP to Patek. These timepieces command a fraction of the price of their circular counterparts. In fact, size might be the second reason why rectangular watches haven't quite kept up with their circular cousins. During the second half of the 20th century, the average man model was sized around 35 to 39 mm. But over the past 3 decades, the trend for larger watch sizes has exploded. The average size for the mid-90s, for example, had ballooned to 41 to 44 mm. The third reason is its history. Back in the early days of design, it was simply easier to house a mechanical movement in a round case. There's a reason why the pocket watch is round after all. Not only do rectangular movements take up more space, historically the case was more difficult to engineer. Inside our today's piece beats a manual wound movement is the historic AP caliber 2001. Interesting to know is that Audemars Piguet shared this ultra-thin movement with Jaeger-LeCoultre as a caliber 818 and Vacheron Constantin as a caliber 1001. But tastes change again. And so a clear trend can be seen in recent years. The demand is going back to smaller watches, and also the demand for angular shaped timepieces is increasing. What this means is that rectangular watches haven't been produced in the same quantities as their round counterparts, and in this business, rarity drives prices. The relative scarcity of the rectangular watch could very well make them more appealing to the seasoned collector, or even someone on a modest budget looking to start a collection. To put it briefly, if you're flirting with this type of watch, you should not hesitate too long because the prices will rise significantly. So that's all from today. We hope you enjoyed today's video, and yeah, have a great day and hope to see you in our next one.